Good morning, sir. Today, I'm going to present deploying model using Flask. This model used the linear regression to find the relationship between the independent variable and the dependent variable or the continuous target variable. And this model is used to predict the sales value in the third month using rate of interest and sales of the first 2 months. This project has 4 structure and includes model.py. This contains code for the machine learning model to predict sales in the third month based on the sales in the first 2 months. App.py. This contains Flask APIs that receive sales data through graphical user interface or API calls, computes the predicted value based on our model and returns it. Request.py. This uses request module to call APIs defined in app.py and displays the returned value. HTML and CSS. This contains the HTML template and CSS styling to allow user to enter sales detail and display the predicted sales in the third month. The following environment and tools used are the pandas and numpy in order to manipulate the matrices and data respectively, the scikit-learn to train the model using linear regression, and the Flask. Here is the dataset used in the model. In the column, we have the following: the date, the price, bedroom, bathrooms, square foot living, square foot lot, floors, waterfront, view, condition, grade, square foot basement, year built, year renovated, zip code, long, square foot living, square foot lot, and so on. And that's the dataset used in the model. In this module, we have here from sklearn.ensemble, import gradient boosting regressor. This estimator has native support for missing values. And during training, the tree grower learns at each split point whether samples with missing values should go to the left or right based on the potential gain. And this part is the front end using HTML for the user to input the values. There are 3 fields which need to be filled by the user. First is rate of interest, second, sales in first month, third, sales in second month, and the button predict to display the result. Next is for the styling the front end using the CSS for the input button, login buttons, and the background. In this project, we have created a customized sales dataset which has 4 columns: the rate of interest, sales in first month, sales in second month, and sales in third month. Now it's time to have the machine learning model to predict sales in the third month and use the linear regression as the machine learning algorithm. In this part, it undergoes in the process of serializing and deserializing. In simple words, serializing is a way to write a Python object on the disk that can be transferred anywhere and later deserialized or read back by a Python script. We have converted the model, which is in the form of Python object, into a character stream using pickling. The idea is that this character stream contains all the information necessary to reconstruct the object in another Python script. The next part was to make an API which receives sales data through graphical user interface and computes the predicted sales value based on our model. For this, it is deserialized the pickled model in the form of Python object and set the main page using index.html. On submitting the form values using post request to or predict, we get the predicted sales value. The result can be shown by making another post request to or results. It receives JSON inputs, uses the trained model to make a prediction, and returns the prediction in JSON format which can be accessed through the API endpoint. Finally, we use request model to call APIs defined in app.py. It acts as the central configuration object of the entire application and displays the returned sales value in the third month. Now, it is the time to deploy our model. And I'm launching here PowerShell prompt. And I'm going to install Jinja 2, that is essential in this project. And I'm writing here pip install Jinja 2. It is a templating language for Python with a certain data source to render dynamic web pages. Next is locating and calling our file. And I'm writing here cd, that is change directory, a command that will change from the current directory to any directory that I'm going to specify. And my file is in the desktop with a file name predict.hp. Next, getting the server up and running. My server name here is app, and I'm writing here python space app.py to run my server. The app server is running on http://127.0.0.1 and 5000, which is our app endpoint. And using the URL, we can now access the app. Here is now the front end, or the graphical user interface of the applications, which have the title Sales Forecasting. This time we can now predict sales in the third month by simply inputting the rate, the sales in the first month, sales in the second month. Then click the button to display the predicted sales value for the third month. That would be all for my presentation, and thank you, sir.